As you get settled in here, what a ball game today. I think a lot of us, myself, Jim, and around the program, you look at these two teams, both came in scoring in the mid to high 70s, thought we might get a little bit more of an up-tempo ball game. That didn't happen here today, but still you will out a 63-61 victory. Boy, this was a tough ball game today. Both teams, I thought, played well.
Yeah, it was a rock fight, man. It certainly was. And you know what's interesting? Both clubs, have been really good offensively for the most part of the year. But over the course of the last couple weeks in league, both teams have kind of tightened up defensively. We've gotten a lot better defensively. Pepperdine has as well. And they did a much better job today using their quickness and length to bother us. And 63-61 in overtime. It was a battle of wills. And I'm just really proud of our guys for the way they stepped up. We had a chance. I think we went down 2 with about a minute and a half to go or whatever. Gave up a couple transition threes, but we stayed the course. Charles and Jordan made some big free throws to ice the game and to get us to overtime and to ice the game. And we were just tough, man. We were tough.
Let's break down some of the individual play. You mentioned Minlin. He was a warrior here today with 19 points and 12 rebounds. You don't win this ball game without Charles.
You know what? He's stepping up, man. He really is. He's a tough kid, really bright, and you know what? He has a high level of belief and passion, and he's answered the bell the last couple games here and done a really nice job. 8 offensive rebounds. My goodness, that's from him coming from the wing spot to be able to do that gave us a huge lift, and really he was the only guy down the stretch that could really get us some offense and made some big time shots. I thought he got fouled down there at the end of regulation. I was begging for that call. But he was just really tough, man, and he did a great job finishing it for us.
You talk about rebound and offensive boards. Ramu Wrighton gave you a lot of solid minutes today. His plus-minus, and the plus-minus was +10. He plays 33 and a half minutes, but I think of 3 rebounds he hauled down in the overtime, a couple on the defensive end, and tough boards, and then 1 big offensive rebound that came at about the 42nd mark. Late in the overtime. He was a big contributor here today.
We don't win the game without him. And between him and Trey and Tavi, I thought all 3 of those guys gave us a huge lift off the bench. And actually, Khalil was phenomenal in the first half, and then he just got in some foul trouble. And, we just couldn't get back to him. But, what Ramu gives us is experience, it's toughness and intelligence. And, the reality is Josh struggled today. He just couldn't get it going. And so we went with a guy that's been in the program and understands what winning's all about. And to your point, awesome job on the glass, hit some timely threes for us. And, again, we don't win the game without him.
Trey Anderson, who's going to be our guest here in a moment on the postgame, he came in the first half when your offense was, having trouble scoring. You're having trouble finding the bottom part of the net. Pepperdine had gone to an 8-point lead, and almost 3 straight possessions. He went three-pointers, and that really kind of kept you hanging around that first half.
I'm so proud of Trey. A couple weeks ago he was disappointed with his role, and I didn't blame him. He's a very competitive kid, and he's a winner. He's a fighter, and told him you got to stay with it. You're a sophomore, you're young, you're building up, and he's really come on in practice these last few weeks, gave us a good lift at Santa Clara, and the bottom line is we weren't getting great guard play early in the game, and Trey came in, knocked down those 3 threes, and we don't win the game without him. Really proud of the way he battled, man. He's a fighter. Love going back to him later in the game because I knew he would compete, and he gives us a lift. He's a confident kid. And, to score double figures, he was the only one. Him and Charles were the only 2 guys in double figures tonight. He did a great job.
Coach, I sat next to Charles Minlin on the charter back from Spokane. We talked a little bit. I know it was a tough loss up there, but we talked about the finish, the stretch. And, you've talked about this before with me a little bit that, we all know what happened a year ago down the stretch. Things didn't go particularly well.
Yep.
And I know the mission, the mindset this year is to finish stronger. Charles talked about that a bit with me. Could you expand on that? Because you win here today. You still got 2 more in the regular season. You'll be likely favorites in both those games. Then you go to Vegas, and, if you can snatch a couple there, you'll have that strong finish. Obviously, that's important to you and your team this year.
Yeah, this was huge. This is a big part of it. And, the bottom line is going into this game, we were 1-4 in the last 5, but we had played 3 of those games against top 15 opponents. 2 against Gonzaga, 1 at BYU. We were in a really difficult stretch of our season, and it really tests you. It tests what you're about. test your belief, test your program to just know what you've built on going back to last spring, summer, and the fall. And we just talked to our guys about staying the course, bottom line. We played some good games. We played great at Santa Clara last week, played a great half up in Spokane. And we knew this game was going to be really, really tough. You know, Coach Romar's a great coach. They have some great individual talents on their team. And, you know, we really defended today, and I thought that showed a lot of our mental and physical toughness.
Coach, you have Portland next here at home. That's a game earlier in the year that,
we owe them one.
Yeah, kind of a tough one. But at the same time, you walked out of that game, and it kind of gave the team a little pop in the mouth, and you went on a bit of a run after that, played better. And as you say, you owe them one. What do you expect here on Thursday? It will be senior night, so it will be an emotional night for guys like Jimbo Lal and Raymond Reitman, who will have their last games in this building.
Yeah, I don't expect to differ much from what we've been doing, which is working hard. And, yeah, there's going to be some extra emotion. You know, that group of seniors, Ramu, Jordan, and Jimbo, have given so much to this program, man. They've been a huge part of kind of revitalizing this program back on the hilltop. If we can scrape a couple more, we'll get 4 straight years of 20 wins from those guys, which has not been done since they brought the program back. And, you know, I'm really excited to honor those guys and everything they've done for our program.
Coach, savor the moment. You don't win too many overtime games in a year. This is your second overtime win of the season, and we'll see you out here on Thursday night for senior night for the Dons and the Pilots.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
All right, that's USF.